This here is Backwoods Billy coming to you from the beautiful Delmarva Eastern Shore. Today is April 7th, if I'm correct on that. Right there? Yep, 4/7. 2017. I'm reviewing a beer called Genesee, Genny for short. They actually are a partner with the Yellow Ribbon Fund, which actually pays money to servicemen's families, stuff like that. So it's an interesting thing. Look it up online. Very cheap or economical beer. 4.5 ABV, 12 IBUs, so low in the IBUs. This is a German-style Pilsner. The reason I did the review, because some asswipe put a video online of taking this beer and adding wheat to it. Now it's be a craft beer. Here's the whole thing why that came about. In essence, Walmart's being sued, not the first time, because Genesee has a few beers like a barrel-aged beer, a seasonal release Christmas stout, and I believe another stout, a couple of beers that they're calling craft beer, which by the way in 1995 they patented the word craft beer. So ta-da! So I'm gonna tell you something from a legal standpoint. There is no way that you can call yourself a craft brewer or not a craft brewer. A macro brewer can call themselves a craft brewer because craft has several different definitions legally. A craftsman, that would provide craftsmanship, like if you go get something that a carpenter makes that's not making bullshit money and you get a custom house or custom cabinets, you pay extra money for craftsmanship. Or you hire a mason who is a craftsman in his trade to do either stonework or brickwork and you pay a little more money. It's craftsmanship. So anyway, that's that end. Pretty much making beer you can do in your house. If somebody thinks it's something that hard, it's not. I'm going to put a recipe online how to make this. The only thing I'm going to say is this. What they do with this is one of the, another reason I did, is one of the few beers you can actually collect a slight aroma of corn and a real grainy taste. And here's the reason why. Instead of using what most big brewers do is when they use the corn, they use a liquid for their adjunct, which is actually like a clear syrup that has no, you can't buy it. You have to go through some supply houses. I can get it. You could probably get it through a supply house yourself, but it's a little money. But it's clear. It has no color to it, obviously. No flavor and no aroma. So people say they're picking up aroma of corn, you're full of shit. So that's that aspect of why I'm going to be in my little pitch fun today. But anyway, I've tasted this. I'll tell you ahead of time. Is it a good beer? Yes. Is it a great beer? No. It's an economical beer, and a 30-pack will cost you, it was $11.99 a couple weeks ago. I went to buy it, and it went up $1 because more liquor stores are carrying it now. Natty Bell up to $17.99. You can buy Miller or Pabst. All Pabst makes now. You can buy Pabst for that. So why are you going to pay that? I mean, so it's, you know, certain things are, people are start getting to this. The reason craft beer has done well, because off a little tangent, is because of the fact that right now the economy's starting to do a little bit better, and it's an affordable luxury, meaning that it's not as expensive as a high-end wine where you're paying a couple $100 a bottle or even $75 a bottle. It's getting there though, because 12 ounces of the 120 by Dogfish is $10 in this area, and that's if you can find it. I can get it because I have liquor stores that look for me, but I very rarely buy something like that. To me, you to the point where I can make a couple cases of that for what a 4-pack would cost me. But anyway, what they do is they actually use corn grits, and where most homebrewers use flaked maize, corn grits you have to actually make into almost a gel, and you're making it with a combination of water and some of the wort before you add it to the wort to do your beer. So the idea is to have some wort to save. With a big commercial brewer, that's going to, it's an old-time recipe they call pre-prohibition type recipe is what they've done with this. I believe the brewery's in Brooklyn, New York, or Rochester. It's in New York. I'll post what it is online. Genesee, oh yeah, they use 6-row barley malt, house of the Yakima Valley, 13.58 carbs, or grams of carbs I should say. It was founded in 1878, 148 calories per 12 ounces. And under the label gives it 4.3 out of 5. I personally, I'm not going to grade on a 1 to 5, but I say it's a good beer, not a great beer. It's, somebody said it tasted like Miller or Pabst. I disagree with that. But it's a personal opinion. Have a right to them. It probably does. That's why you have judges. You have a panel. There's more than one person who's going to taste it, give you a slightly different opinion. And one person may be able to pick up one type of diactyl, and somebody else may be able to pick up every single hops and tell you it's this, and someone else may be not able to be as good as they are at that. So that's why you have more than one person on the panel. But anyway, I'm going to do this somewhat like a BCJP judge would, and I'm also going to do it like a magazine. I'm not going to give you a 1 to 10 ABC, all this shit. 1 to 5, 1 to 10, 1 to 100. This is going to be like a German-style Pilsner. It's going to be slightly darker. And everybody must know I must like my viewers because I brought out the company napkins. Anyway.
Are you getting all highfalutin on us there?
All highfalutin with the company napkins. That's the first one I found, so I don't usually use something like that. I go for company. So everybody's company here today. Put up my Tall Tales glass. My third wave, which I was just there this week. Goes from traffic. It's been a little bit windy. And anybody can see with this, the color of this is more to the darker side of gold, not a pale straw. It's a darker gold, so I'd say I really call it medium gold, but darker than a pale.
A lot of
like
bubbles.
Some lagers.
A lot of bubbles.
And you actually with this, you get the sweet malts, bready notes, and you get the graininess from this. And also, I'll put everything with this in there. If food pairings are like hard cheeses, beer, like your pretzels, potato chips. What are the things we like? The little snacks,
Stacy chips?
No, the ones we buy at restaurant supply store.
Oh,
Crab
the
crunch and the one
crab
with
crunch.
peanut butter. Yeah, that'd be really good. I've been having pretzels with it, so I've had a few of them.
Not just any kind of pretzels, the honey wheat pretzels.
Honey wheat pretzels, which go well with this. Now this is going to have more of a hop bite to it, and surprisingly for 12 IBUs, this actually has a pretty big hop bite. You can see I poured a finger and a half head real easily. Decent lacing. It's not going to be excellent lacing. Decent lacing. Nice head to it. It's got some nice bubbles. It has almost a champagne-like character to it, and you do pick up some grape and some apples with it. Now, you get some of the sweetness up front, and you got a hop bite with this more than you would with most of your lagers. Close to Beck's, more of a bite than like Miller is going to have with it, so it's in the German style Pilsner, and also it's slightly astringent. The reason for that is people say, oh, 6-row Baltimore, it's not as good as 2. Bullshit. Anybody that brews, then it's not true. The problem is it's actually harder because when there's a process that basically you have to germinate the seed, but you germinate the barley, and when it germinates, then you malt or roast it, and it's harder to get to it the way the 6-row versus the 2-row. The advantage to it is that you have a little more protein in it, which also a disadvantage. You create a haze since they filter it, not a problem, you can see. It actually, here's the big advantage, it's going to ferment a lot of sugars that naturally wouldn't normally ferment. It's going to actually help do that for you, bring it all together, make it more fermentable. So the 6-row is typically used with adjuncts where there's, might be a problem with yeast getting going with that. That's why they use it. I personally don't see a thing with this, and if you brew it, there's advantage, disadvantage each one, and they use a higher heat with this when they cook it. A 6-row is going to have an advantage using a higher heat versus the 2-row. If you brew, you know that. If you don't, you can look it up. Anyway, there's some lacing sticking to the glass, and I'm serving this at a higher temperature, like around 60, 65 degrees, because I want to bring out, all the different flavor profiles. You can see there's still little bubbles coming up to the top, so it gets some champagne-like quality to it as far as that goes. Not to the extent, like, believe it or not, Miller actually is more so. The mouthfeel on this is on the heavy side of medium. So it's not a light beer. And it's a slight bit astringent, which is normal. It's like kind of a effect you have when you use a 6-row malted barley, and because you use the corn adjunct, you're doing that to get that. And they're using corn grit. So anybody says they can smell something with this, you will pick up your grainy notes as well as your bready notes with this, and you'll actually be able to smell it. So anybody saying you smell corn, get this. This is the beer you're going to be able to smell corn with. Now, is that a problem? No. The reason that they use corn with these types of beer is they want to up the alcohol content, but only 4.5 is not much. And it's not to save money. I've seen books out there by people that are lying. It's because what they want to do is you don't want to change the color of the beer or make the body any heavier. So by adding corn to it, I'm upping my alcohol content. I'm not changing my taste. I'm not changing my aroma, and I'm upping my alcohol content. It is slightly cheaper, but not by a lot. And by the way, if you would do this at your house, you're going to probably use more energy to do it than you would just using the flake maize, and it's easier to do that. So I'm going to give you a recipe to make a version. It's a clone recipe to do a Genesee type clone. That's a Backwoods Billy. I'm gonna give it a 1.5 thumbs up. I can't give it 2 because of the price. I'll go and get the extra thumb. I have no problem drinking this. For $12.99 for a 30-pack, it's economical. I see nothing wrong with it. It would go. So it's a long. It'll pair well with pizza, chicken. When we're getting pizza, when we leave here. Oh man, I can't wait. Pizza and wings, baby. Woo! Anyway.
You're such a dork.
Hey, I'm been off my, been working out heavily, so I don't stick to a strict diet. I see people that say they do, and you can look at people that, I used to bodybuild. You're lying. You can't stick to a strict diet because you go nuts. I do what I want to do, and I stay on a basic thing for calorie counts, and I allow myself the ability to have this by my calories and fat content, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I think it's a nice color. It's a good taste. Now, the finish of this is going to finish dry. So it's slightly dry. It's not completely dry, but it's on the drier side of that. Not quite all the way to being a totally dry finish, but it's drier. And the astringent quality kind of makes it drier. I like it. Here's my thing. Pick you up, you can buy them in a 6-pack or 30-pack. A 6-pack's like what, $250, $260?
No, $2.99.
Oh, okay, $2.99. I picked up a 6-pack originally, went back at a 30-pack. I got a thing, a 30-pack of Pabst on sale, but like cheaper than that, even better. It makes no sense to me. But anyway, well, it's the same price that on sale too. But I'm not a beer snob. Anybody that's telling you, you must be a rich person if all you can drink is $5 a piece beers. The reason these guys can drink this shit is they're being sent it for free. So you know they're not telling you the truth. If they're drinking a $5 or $10 or $20 beer and telling you it's shit, they're not going to tell you that. There's, oh, it's beautiful. Here's this, that, and the other thing. If they pay for it, then they're going to tell you they don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll get something like this because it's cheap and it's slam it. If somebody's all they're doing is reviews like these because they can't afford craft beer. I've seen a couple of people, I don't do it, orders because there are a craft brewer and they're trying to slam them. And by the way, they're going to win their lawsuit. And I hope whichever asshole that brought the lawsuit, I hope that they hit you for all their legal fees and get it, which they probably will. They patented it. So anytime you sue someone, when you go to court, look that up. What some idiot in this area built a treehouse, right? And the county took them to court over it. Here's what I don't understand. This guy won a decision. It's a Supreme Court decision and owned them. Because their lawyer was connected to a former governor. It used to be a governor here, his great-granddaddy or some bullshit. And he's not an educated person. He's not from an Ivy League school. I could have told him in 5 minutes you're going to lose this lawsuit. But they're stupid. Anyway.
You digress.
Huh?
You digress.
Stuff like that. I wonder where their money goes in their poor county because they're stupid. Anyway, stupid people like kind of make me just want to smack them in the face. But I'll tell anybody, like the one guy said, some of these people need a bullet for the brain. I'll tell you what. Threaten me with a bullet for the brain. I'll give you my address and come here, and I guarantee you, you won't leave.
All right.
No, I'm not threatening with a gun. I'll snap their neck with a fucking twig.
All right.
So I got the training to do that. Do you? So anyway, I don't threaten anyone. I'm just saying if you want to say strap like that, or you can't be on one side of the fence or the other, bullshit. I believe that I like all beers. Okay, I just like some beers better than others. Like I'll drink sours. I'll drink. Hold on. I like porters and stouts. That are my favorite ones. I'll drink lagers. I like lagers. I drink every style of beer. IPAs, you name it. I just like some beers, styles better than others, and then some of those brewers better than others in there. This stuff that somehow the craft brewers are being picked on is bullshit. They start this to get people to believe in this stuff. Doghead Fish, which claimed they were struggling, when the brewery was, now they're one of the bigger ones, so they're not one to complain. But the funny thing with them is, his father was the president, not vice president, of Goldman Sachs. You're talking good, like $15, $20 million base salary plus stock options, bonuses. You're not poor. One. If he's somewhere, someone's gonna give him fair money to get home. His restaurants were making, one restaurant made $500,000 a year profit, while the brewers that carried the brewery. He's got what, 5 restaurants, something like that now. He's 3 breweries in Delaware, a hotel. All this stuff makes money. So
it's propaganda.
It's propaganda. Some of the ones might be struggling more, and I'm going to do the review when I get it because it's that third way. They came out with originally, and Dogfish, as with the wars, was smart and partnered with McCormick. And I was like, listen to this. And I said, you know what? It's a shame because they came up with the idea of the crab spice beer before they did. But all of them, National Bohemian in Baltimore in the 60s and 70s used to have it on their cases in 6-packs. Rim your glass, lemon juice, and then into Old Bay, and then you put it on when you eat crabs, you have the spice on there. So the original one was down, you just add it to the beer. So they just had that idea. And what Flying Dog was, is they came in and just McCormick and made the beer. So it would be very hard if you patented your Crab Spice Bay to defend the cork, because somebody could say, well, this existed back then. But I understand why people patent stuff, make it a little bit harder to do something. But
chatty today, aren't we?
oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the guy's channel. I'll post what it was. Look at the video. It's a good video, good channel. And I believe another Louisiana Beer Reviews, they're reviewing this as well. You can check that out. It's a good beer. It's just not a great beer. 1.5 thumbs up.